Hi, I'm Owen from the English Folk Dance and Song Society, and I'm here with Martyn Joseph, who's playing at Cecil Sharp House on the 19th of January. So Martyn, tell us a bit about yourself. Who are you? That's a big question.
I come from Wales, singer-songwriter, been doing this for about, 35 years now, Owen, I think it is. And I drag myself around the world and sing songs for anyone who wishes to listen.
So, in about a month's time from our time of recording, but I guess it'll be out in the world when people see this, you've got the Sweet Liberties album coming out very shortly. Tell us a bit about that project.
It was an amazing project that the English Folk and Dance Society, along with Oak by the Oak Festival and Parliament, basically, was the third member of that trinity, asked a number of musicians, myself and three others, Sam Carter, Nancy Kerr and Maz O'Connor, to write songs to commemorate the signing of the Magna Carta 800 years ago. Basically, we had access to Parliament and to write songs based around Acts of Parliament since the 14th century. So we thought, wow, there's top 20 material for us all. And but the idea was to kind of break down and put some bones on, or meat on the bones really, of what could be something that's quite dry and uninteresting, but it's not. It's basically the story of our democracy to this point. So we would take acts of Parliament, such as I took the Factory Act, which had a song about kids working underground back then and communicating with a child from now, modern age, and comparing their lives. And I wrote a song, 1946, the Health Act, Nye Bevan, being a Welshman. So that was the idea, and we made an album called Sweet Liberties, and we did some dates. We played here at Cecil Sharp, and the album's good. I enjoyed it. It was interesting to have that interaction with other musicians who come from the Canada, perhaps more of a folk tradition than myself.
Sure.
So it was a really good project.
These themes, I guess, of sort of politics and social justice and things quite often come up in your music.
They do. Yeah.
Would you say that's a really important element for you as a songwriter?
It is. It doesn't sound like it would be much of a fun night, does it, if you came along? But it is. I'm trying to, as a writer, I'm really trying to make sense of our lives, of my life, of your life, whatever it might be. That's kind of the job, isn't it? So the strain into the social justice writing and sort of, trying to write stories about those things, it is very important, but that doesn't mean that you're not finding the hope within that as well. So yes, you want to say this is wrong, it's not fair, it's unjust. So when people come to a show, it's a bit of a journey, to be honest. We laugh, there may even be the odd tear, but it's meant to be like a dinner party, rather than me up there and people out there, and people go away hopefully inspired and with that sense of belonging, all that stuff. I know it's ridiculous, it's a huge task really, isn't it? And you're stupid to think that anyone could do that, but that's what I'm kind of about, that's what I want to do. I've never seen myself as an entertainer. That's kind of what people might call collateral damage, if that happens. And it does happen, but at the thrust of it, I'm really searching for that deep connection with people.
So you almost always play solo. Is that kind of a part of that aim?
Not really. It's just really what happened. I mean, I've played with bands in the past, but when I do that, people always feel that something is diluted. And there's so many amazing bands out there. So I think on an individual basis, perhaps I've learned across 30 years of how to make that work and communicate. How to make the guitar sound like a band, not just strumming away or whatever, that sort of thing. So, and economically, it means that I've been able to do this most of my life.
Sure.
I haven't had the band to play 5-6 air flights and all those, and so when I do interact with other musicians, it's great. I enjoy that. But I suppose the freedom, that sense of I can do anything I want up there, whatever it might be. That's worked for me. I don't recommend it always for others. But for me, I'm quite content up there on my own. I can make it work. So,
on that theme, you've recently released a second version of your most recent album, Sanctuary, and played entirely solo.
Yeah.
What was the decision to?
Well, a lot of people come to a show and they hear you play the music, and then you play a record, and sometimes the record is embellished, bass drums or whatever. And I haven't done a lot of that in the last 10 years in terms of putting full studio records, in terms of, with other arrangements on it. But the last album, Sanctuary, we recorded in New Jersey with a guy called Ben Wish, who's won 3 Grammys for his engineering and producing. And Ben and I made an album in '92 when I was on Sony Music. So he made it, it sounds beautiful, and I don't think that sense of the solo performer is lost in it, because all the musicians were sensitive to the fact that, that there was the guitar player, and they supported that, which was beautiful. But I just put this out because I thought that some people, really like access to the more really stripped down bare, the guy in the kitchen strumming away or playing, and how the song originated. So I didn't just take the music off and put the acoustic, but I actually re-recorded the song acoustically. And we also, the Nye Bevan song I told you about has become quite popular when I've been playing it on at my own shows, so we put that on as an extra track as well. So it's just a way of, I've got my own studio, I can turn this out pretty easily, so it's just a way of putting that stuff out there so people can have access to it and be right in the moment, almost as if it's just a live concert.
You talked a bit about your guitar playing style and how you found a way to make it sound like a band.
Yeah.
In some respect. It's definitely a very distinctive way of playing. So what are your influences in that kind of area?
Oh, well, it's an onward-going thing, the guitar, they sit in your room, and that it's almost like this ongoing conversation. There's always something to learn and be, and so you study lots of different styles over the years, and I've really actually worked hard at the guitar playing in the last 8 years or so to improve. And one of the people I've looked to in terms of inspiration is a Canadian artist called Bruce Coburn, who's not so well known in the UK, but is a folk god in Canada. He's made something like 45, 50 records. I thought I'd made a lot, but you look at his catalogue. And but Bruce is again someone who plays with a band, but is also sensational on his own. He has an album called Slice of Life, which is a double live album. I recommend that to anyone who likes guitar players and poetry. He's a great poet, but at the same time he has this style of playing which is quite percussive, where the thumb kind of weighs the song down, is the low end, and kind of the bass, and is the percussion, and then plays lead with the other 4 fingers. So a lot of his style I've studied quite a bit, but I used to listen to a lot of Paul Simon's a great guitar player, and people like that. So people that allow the guitar to not just to be I don't know, the structure underneath, but actually it's a part of the song to envelop the lyric with melody and percussive notes that really support the song, so that you really have to ask the question, well, what more does this need? And I think if I've done that, I'm kind of happy with it.
You set up quite a while ago now the Let Yourself Trust.
Yeah.
And that works with lots of different projects around the world. What's happening with that at the moment?
At the moment, so we change projects every 6 months. So we focus on that particular project. It's always grassroots projects that don't get a lot of attention or grants, but they're often an individual or husband and wife who see something that's wrong in the world, and they have, they're really passionate about putting it right. So no money gets wasted, and we really try to support them. And we're on I think it's our 6th project now. Our latest one is called Festival Spirit. It's based here in the UK. We've worked in Africa and Palestine and over, but it's good to do some at home as well. And Festival Spirit facilitates severely disabled people to go to music festivals, so that they too get the chance to enjoy music and what it can be in our lives.
So this feels a bit early to be asking this now, but what have you got planned for 2017 or the kind of foreseeable future?
Well, the work of the Trust is going like crazy right now. We're taking a group of 30 people back to the West Bank in Palestine on a volunteer trip in May, so that's part. There's the year is mapped out touring wise. There's trips to Canada, North America. I'm going to Germany. I used to do stuff in the 90s. I'm going back there. We've just released over there. And probably I'll start thinking about a new record at some time during the year. So, but it's an average. I think this year, by the time we finish, there's going to be 170 shows or something like that. So it's constantly on the road. But I'm trying to find a little bit more space to keep reading the stories and reinventing everything, because if you don't want to become that machine that just goes out every night and goes through the motions, God forbid if that ever happens. So you always want to make sure you're plugged into inspiration too. So yeah, I've got to be mindful of that. But it's always busy, and I'm grateful for that.